Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series. I guess this is a fan channel exclusive. This is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier flashback version of Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier himself. So this is early in the show. I don't know if it was the first episode or second episode or whatever it was, but he was somewhere, I forget where it was. But he was in the classic look that we had seen from Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Basically that same look, and it might actually be the same exact damn figure, which I didn't really realize before, but then as people started getting it, and I was like, oh, well, it's gonna be the same thing, which kind of sucks. But it was pretty badass moment actually in the show. That's when he was, you know, full-on Winter Soldier. He was ruthless and everything, and, you know, like a cold-blooded killer and stuff. So it was pretty cool. It's nice that we get some updated head sculpts for this guy. So that kind of could replace this version if this is one that you still have. But he does come with some awesome accessories as well. So we'll kind of get to that right away. You see the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Disney Plus series logo there in the front. Winter Soldier flashback. We get that Winter Soldier logo there up at the top. Side artwork of Bucky Barnes. Looks pretty good there. Looking at the back of the package, you get a full look at that side artwork. And the bio reads, though Bucky Barnes has fought to become himself again, in his darkest nightmares, his greatest fear comes to life, that he is still the Winter Soldier. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting, that's a good little bio, but that's enough of that. Let's get it out of the box. Okay, so here is the Winter Soldier figure out of the package, and I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. It's not all that great, because it is a straight repaint of this one. We get new head sculpts, we get new accessories. The accessories are great, the head sculpts are great. The figure itself kind of sucks, and a couple of reasons why. It's hella old. This figure originally came out in, what, 2013, 2014? It was part of the Mandroid wave, which was part of the first waves of the Marvel Legends Infinite series. I think it was, they split the Mandroid Build-A-Figure into two waves. Like wave 1 were the comic figures, wave 2 were the movie figures, you know, the stealth suit Captain America, the Black Widow figure, and then Winter Soldier was one of them. No, I think he may have been, I'm trying to think, he may have been wave 1. He probably wasn't. He probably was the two-way. Anyway, so it's an old-ass figure. That's a problem. Why wouldn't they do something new? Hasbro doesn't like to do that. We know that. It costs a lot of money to create new tooling and stuff like that. They already did that for this Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Disney Plus show. So I guess I wouldn't really have expected them to make a brand new body mold, although it would be nice if they tended to do those things. But this is one where it's an easy pass for folks because it's not a current look. If you had the original, maybe you don't want to pay more money to get one that's updated, what have you, whatever the case may be. It's not something that's going to be in store, so it's not taking up peg space or anything like that. It's a fan channel exclusive that you're going to be able to find online. I got mine from shopdisney.com. They had it in stock. I think it sold out within the same day. I don't know how long it really lasted. But it's just, man, it's disappointing. The accessories are cool, so you may want to pick it up for the accessories, because we'll take a look at it. So we have a couple of different guns here. So we have this one here. I don't know how really realistic it looks, but it's kind of cool. It even has a little peg hole at the end there, so maybe some smoke effects or something could actually peg into there. So that's kind of cool. We get that one. We get this one here with a long magazine, it looks like. It's kind of a similar weapon. But again, it's kind of large there. It also has a peg hole at the end. Looks pretty good, all in black color. We get this knife, which looks pretty good. We have a nice metallic silver paint for the blade. A little bit of a serrated edge there, black for the hilt of it. That looks pretty good. It's a very large knife, as you can see, very large knife. And then we have this assault rifle here. They're all pretty thin though, so like this one here, because it's so thin right there, you really want to be careful, because that could become flimsy. Like it just wants to kind of move around, because again, that spot right there is just so thin. But looking at the weapon, this looks pretty good. This actually looks pretty realistic. We have the scope, you know, the additional magazine here. It does not remove or anything like that. As cool as that would be, we do not have anything like that. But this weapon does look pretty cool. It does have a peg hole at the end of it as well. So that looks really good. And then here we have the Winter Soldier. And again, the figure kind of sucks for a couple of reasons. With it being old, Hasbro didn't quite hit their stride in balancing articulation and aesthetics, because this thing has some wonky proportions. Like, he has really thin legs that I think are a little too long, and he has a weird problem standing up. See how he just kind of looks like he wants to lean back? Like this one, it takes me forever to get it to stand, and look how it looks. Like, it's like he's like curved, right? So he goes up here and then loops back around. That's like the only way to get this to stand, and I kind of hate that that's the way it looks. Like, or he always wants to lean back. I tried to get it like more flat-footed, and it's just kind of weird. It's like, it's kind of tough. And then as far as paint apps, we actually get some nice paint apps on certain parts of the figure, but overall it's not great, because where it should count the most in his arm, the arm just straight up just looks bad. And the reason for that is because of that cheap ass gray metallic plastic look that I've always hated. That's what they used for the arm. They didn't paint anything on it. They didn't give it any shading or anything like that. They didn't do the panel lining of the arm like they did on the original release. Like, if you look at it, that looks pretty good, right? Then look at this one. It just doesn't look as good. There's all kinds of marbleization in there, and I just don't like the color plastic that they use. A silver paint would have been huge had they done that. A nice silver paint, or paint in the lines of the arm there. Looking at the Captain America Civil War version, they added a little bit of shading in the paint. It wasn't huge or anything like that, but it helps get those lines to stand out. And we just didn't get that here. I like the way the star looks. It's quite large on there. It looks pretty good. It was kind of small on the original release. And then the Civil War version actually had a red outline on it. So all kinds of different looks, but there we go. And as you can see, we got the Winter Soldier a few different times. Each of these figures do share the same arms and the same legs and boots. It's just the torso was different on this Civil War version. But anyway, let's get in for a closer look at the details of this guy, and then we'll do articulation. We'll take another look as far as like the comparisons of the two. But let's get in for the closer look. Okay, so here's a close look at the Winter Soldier figure. So first, the updated head sculpt is fantastic. Here's what we got previously there, which was okay. The goggle look wasn't bad. So this head sculpt was okay. It was the Bucky Barnes one that looked bad, but back then they weren't really doing likenesses all that well, or at least not for Sebastian Stan and Chris Evans. The Black Widow figure from the same wave really did look like Scarlett Johansson, so they put some effort in there. But yeah, this definitely looks a lot better. You get the digital print for the face, and it looks like for the eyebrows, so nice bright blue eyes there. But the mask look came out looking really good. We get a nice wash in the hair to bring out some of the details and give it that layered look. So that looks really good. Before getting into the rest of the figure, let's go ahead and pop this off. And let's do the, whoops, as I drop it, let's do the unmasked Sebastian Stan head, Winter Soldier. Pop that on there. And that looks really good. Looks a little swollen in the face, but I like it. Definitely improvement over this, right? This abomination. So that looks really good because we actually see Sebastian Stan. Well, I don't think it's the greatest because the hair kind of gets in the way to really see it. I do see the likeness. I don't know if I'd call it better than this one, but it could be. And I'm not the biggest fan of this one, to be honest with you. I think maybe this one does actually look a little bit better. But that's pretty cool. But I actually really do like the mask look a whole hell of a lot better. But it looks like the hair sculpt might actually be the same. Yeah, they use the same hair sculpt on different heads. But anyway, now looking at the rest of the figure, we do get some nice paint apps on here. They just didn't do anything for the arm, which kind of sucks and really pisses me off. But looking at the gloves, you can actually see like a reddish brown in there with some black. Looking at like the leather jacket look, you could see a couple of different colors in there. You have like a black and reddish brown all kind of mixed in to give it a real leathery texture look. So I think that actually came out looking really good. Looking at the back, right there, it's actually quite bright. You could really see it. And here on the back, you could see some of those details as well. So I actually really like the way that looks. And one thing that I didn't know back in the day, and funny I should have, because look at that, it's like falling off on this one. But this bandolier or whatever thing, whatchamacallit, can actually come off. They actually did put some paint back there too. So that could come off if you wanted it to. I will be leaving mine on. It just clips right on the back there. Looking at this belt, we've got a nice silver paint in there. Nothing really else going on. There's a knife, so they painted that there. Nothing else, fake ass knife there. And looking at the pants, nothing special going on with the pants, just kind of a dark brownish color, but the knee pads have that same like color pattern that the leather jacket had, so you could see the differences there. Those actually came out looking really good. And they actually do that for the boots as well, so looking at like the back of the heel there, as well as the boots. So again, some nice added paint detail in some areas, but where it really would have counted, what stands out the most, like, so when you look at this guy, what really stands out the most? It's his arm, like the bright ass silver of his arm. Yeah, it's cool that it kind of shines, but it just, the details of it gets completely drowned out. Like, you don't see the lines. It just doesn't, it could look so much better if they did silver paint instead of silver plastic. But anyway, that is how he looks, and again, it is the exact same, so at least we get the jacket all the same color, whereas this one didn't get as much of a dark wash like the arm did. Oh, but another thing is we didn't really get any painted details here as far as the ammo, so you see the gold paint there on the arm. We did not get that on the new one. That's actually something that they missed, so we got less paint there. So that's unfortunate. But anyway, now let's check out his articulation. People are probably going to ask, so here is a head swap, so this one does pop on there. It doesn't look terrible, but I don't know that it looks better, but it works. You know, I think it sits a little bit higher on there, but, you know, it kind of looks okay. It just looks a little small. Maybe it's because I was used to having this one on there, but, you know, you could pop it right on if that's what you wanted to do. This can be done as well, but he's really got, like, no neck to do that, but it could work if that's what you wanted to do. Or even this, and you know what? That doesn't look too bad. That actually kind of looks pretty good. Yeah, kind of like that actually. Don't even know why I'm doing it at this point, but we're swapping all the heads. Here is this atrocity. Nope, won't do it. Nuh-uh. Okay, so let's look at the articulation here for Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. So he can look down that much, he can look up that much, so it's a decent amount. Full rotation there, of course, you get some pivot, not really a whole lot going on. The shoulder, you can get it to go up quite high, actually. You get a full rotation in there. You kind of have to work it a little bit, and then the way of the strap here sometimes gets in the way, so you can't get the arm kind of a little bit more flush with the body. Sometimes you kind of have to work it around it a little bit, and you can get it closer in. Anyway, upper bicep swivel in there, double jointed elbow. There's pins on all of this because it's you know, 7, 8 years old body mold at this point or whatever it is, but double jointed elbow like so. Actually, it's kind of a weird double jointed elbow. You don't get a whole lot of bend at this part right here, but here's where it all is. But anyway, that much bend at the elbow. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge, horizontal hinge. We have an ab crunch, so we can crunch forward this much. You can crunch back. Oh, wow, not really a whole lot. It's been forever since I've looked at this figure. Waist swivel in there. Legs go out that far apart. He can't kick forward that far, not a whole lot. The leg goes back really far, actually. Upper thigh cut in there, double jointed knee, like so. Let's see, is there a boot swivel? No boot swivel. Foot hinges down that much, hinges up a little bit, not a whole lot. Ankle pivot, and you do have peg holes at the bottom of the feet. And what I didn't think is, what is the year that they printed on the bottom? 2013. See, it's an old ass body mold. I mean, damn, we're talking almost 10 years old now. 2013. It is now 2022. We are 9 years from that. That is crazy. Craziness. And I don't think it really holds up all that well. It's okay. It's not terrible, but it's not all that good, because I hate the way it looks. Look how he is, like, not straight. It's just kind of a little too funky to me. Like, he's leaning back and stuff, and I just don't really like that. Okay, so here are some figures from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney+. We have the Captain America version of John Walker. They did release the U.S. Agent version as well. We have the Flashback Winter Soldier, the new one. We have Bucky Barnes here. We have the Sam Wilson Captain America from the Captain America 2-pack. You know, from the wave, that was the Captain America's flight gear Build-A-Figure was the Captain America's flight gear. I do not bring out Zemo. Zemo would have been the other figure released from the show. But looking at here, looking at the two Winter Soldiers, at least the height is close. If anything, the new one is maybe a little bit shorter. But one thing that I think I like a little bit more is the legs aren't as long on the new, not the new, but I guess current modern Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier. I think that was one of my biggest issues with this one, is the super long legs, whereas the torso seems a little too small. And it's really apparent seeing these two Winter Soldier figures side by side, especially since they're close to the same height. It's not exact. You know, this flashback version is a little bit taller. You could chalk that up to some big-ass combat boots compared to the slim, like, leather boots of this newer Bucky Barnes. But, you know, when I have an arm that has painted on, where the lines of the arm are painted on, it tends to look a whole hell of a lot better, in my opinion. Okay, and here are all the MCU Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes figures that have been released. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think a single one of them is like the definitive greatest Winter Soldier figure that we've gotten. The closest one is actually going to be the one from the Captain America flight gear Build-A-Figure wave. Because I think it looks a lot more proportionate, correct than the other figures. You know, this one, I definitely have a harder time with this one standing up. He definitely has to lean forward. It had an atrocious ab crunch on him. His arms really don't come out close to his side. This one was okay, but if you look at the torso, his legs are real long and the torso just kind of stops. It looks really weird, in my opinion. I think they could have sculpted the hip area a little bit better. So this one that released last year, you know, kind of midway through last year, I end up thinking is actually going to be the best one, and I didn't even care for that figure all that much. Flashback is cool, it looks okay, but it's just the problems with that older body mold that we had gotten before. It kind of sucks. But you guys have to let me know down in the comments below if you think the accessories are going to be enough to get you to buy this figure, because again, this gun is pretty sweet. This one looks really nice. This one is pretty good. You can't store any of these on the figure, by the way. He would just have to, you know, put them in his hand. You can't even store sheath the knife or anything. So the accessories are cool. The new updated head sculpts are cool. If you missed out on this one, I definitely think this is one that you should pick up then. I'm a big fan of having a representation of the character from each, you know, movie whenever possible. This one could easily work in the place of the Winter Soldier, Captain America the Winter Soldier, or keep it with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier figures, Disney Plus section, however you display your figures. So if you don't have this one, yeah, pick this one up for sure. If you do have this one, unless you absolutely need the updated head sculpts, you know, this one can easily be a pass. You know, it's not, again, because it's not a regular release like a mainline release that you'll see in stores or anything like that. It's one that you essentially have to order online, or you might see in GameStop. But that's really going to be it. So, you know, it's one of those ones that could easily be a pass for some folks. If you absolutely have it, you're going to be able to pre-order it everywhere and anything. But, you know, it's just one of those things. But I'm curious. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What are your thoughts on the figure? Is it one that you're going to be picking up, or is it one that you're going to be passing on? I can understand any argument, whether you got to pick it up or you got to pass on it. For me, I'm a completist. I'm getting them. Plus, MCU figure, I have to have it. So this one will remain with the Captain America Winter Soldier section. This one will now go with this Bucky Barnes in the Disney Plus section, because I have like its own shelf in my detolfs for all the Disney Plus shows, because there's just so many figures coming out for these shows, which I love. It's awesome. So they'll all kind of go together, but he will easily just kind of fit in amongst those. But again, you guys let me know down in the comments below your thoughts. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.